Good morning, student. Welcome back in this class. I hope you are healthy and safe at your home. This is the class 9, subject social science, and today we are going to discuss chapter number 5th of civics. And the topic name is working of institution, and this is the lecture 3rd. Student, in previous lecture we have discussed about the three organs of the government such as legislature, executive and judiciary, and we have already discussed about the prime minister. And prime minister, he is the head of the government, and they take major decision with the cabinet minister in the cabinet meeting for the country. So student, let's start, and today we are going to cover some topic. Firstly, we will discuss about president, and after that we will discuss about power of the president, and after that limitation on the power of the president, and after that we will discuss about the judiciary, third organ of the government, it is judiciary. And after that we will discuss about appointments and the removal of judges, and after that we will discuss about role of the Supreme Court and the High Court, and after that we will discuss about I have given some question in previous lecture, so we will discuss about homework solution, and last I will give some question. So student, let's start, and firstly we will discuss about the president. Student, the president, he is the head of the state. In our political system, the head of the state exercise only nominal power because he or she elected indirectly. So he has only nominal power, and other major decision taken by the prime minister. But the president supervises the overall functioning and of all political institutions in the country. They control and supervise all political institutions in the country. And the student, current vice president is the Shri Ramnath Kovind, and the vice president Shri Venkaiah Naidu. And they control and supervise the political institution of country. And after that we will discuss about appointment of the president. The president of India is elected indirectly by an electoral college because the president elections are indirectly and in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of the single transferable vote. Means the electoral college means a special constitute elected body to elect the president and vice president of India. Those elected body are formed for the selection of president and vice president. It is called electoral college, and it includes MLAs and MPs, such as the electoral college consists of the elected member of the both houses of the parliament, such as member of the Lok Sabha and the member of the Rajya Sabha, and the elected member of the legislative assembly of the state, means all MLAs and MPs. They decide who is the prime minister, who is the president of the country, and the elected member of the legislative assembly of Union Territory of Delhi and Puducherry. Student, in our country we have 9 union territory, and the Delhi and Pondicherry elected member means MLAs included in the selections of a president, and they give their vote. And so student, MPs and MLAs, they give vote, and those person who got the majority in the election, then they become the president of the country. And after that, a candidate standing for president post has to get a majority of votes to win the election. This ensured that the president can be seen to represent the entire nation. Means the president they represent the country, and the president can never claim the kind of direct popular mandate that the prime minister claim, because president indirectly elected, but the prime minister is directly elected by the people. So the president cannot claim the kind of claim such as the prime minister can use the claim. And so this ensures that the her remains only a nominal executive. The president have the and he is the head of the state, and he has only a nominal power. He has only formal authority. So by this method we can appoint the president of the country. And after that we will discuss about power of the president. Student, president is the first citizen of the country, and he take control and supervise all political institution. And student, all government activities take place in the name of the president, and all laws and major policies decision of the government are issued in her name. Means the name of the president. After the long discussion and debate, and after the final approval of the president, all laws and order may be implemented. Okay, so he control and supervise all matter of the country. Next, all major appointments are made in the name of the president. Means major appointments are made by the president, such as it includes Chief Justice of India, the Judge of the Supreme Court, and the High Court Judge are selected by the President, and the Governor of the state and the Election Commissioner, Ambassador to other countries, etc., are appointed by the President. And student, Electoral College means a specially constituted elected body to elect the President and Vice President of India. So by this method we can choose, by this method MP and MLA, they can choose the President of India. And the President, they can appoint all important appointments, such as Judge, Chief Justice, and the Judge of the Supreme Court, in the Election Commissioner appointed by the President. And all international treaties and international deal and agreements are made in the name of the president. So president has the formal authority of the country, and the president is the supreme commander of the defense forces of India, such as army, navy, and air force. And the president has emergency power. They can implement the power of emergency, such as power to deal with an unexpected and critical situation, such as power to declare emergency or president rule and issuing an ordinance. Ordinance means a direction issued by the president when parliament is not in session. It has force to law for 6 months. Means president have the power to implement some laws for 6 months in the absence of the parliament. So these are the power of the president. And president, he is the supreme commander, and he is the first citizen of the country. And all international treaties and agreement are made in the name of the president. After that, we will discuss about the power to appoint prime minister. President appoint prime minister because the leader of the party or coalition of party who secures a clear majority in the Lok Sabha, president appoint prime minister, and those person who get a clear majority in Lok Sabha election is appointed as a prime minister. But when a situation when no party or coalition gets a majority in the Lok Sabha, when the president exercises her discretion and appoints a leader who in opinion can muster majority support in the Lok Sabha. when no party or no any candidate they can get some majority in the Lok Sabha, and the president, according to their own wish, according to the support and the majority support in the Lok Sabha, they can appoint as the prime minister, because the president have the power to appoint a prime minister. And those person who get the majority in the Lok Sabha election, and after that president appoints the prime minister of the India. And after that we will discuss about limitation on the power of the president. He has some power, but he some limitation on the power of the president, such as he can exercise all these power only on the advice of the council of minister. He cannot take on decision. He can discuss with the, he can advise with the council of minister, and after that the discussion and or advice of the council minister, he can exercise all this power. And the president can ask the council of minister to reconsider its advice, but if the advice is given again, the president is bound to act according to it. Means the council of minister means the member of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, they give some approval, and after that president is bound to act according to the approval of council of minister. They cannot neglect this decision. Similarly, a bill passed, it means a money bill passed by the parliament becomes a law only after the president give assent to it. If the president wants, she can declare for this for some time and send the bill back to the parliament for reconsideration. But if the parliament passes the bill again, the president had to sign it, because he is bound to act according to it. It is the power, it is the limitation on the power of the president, because he take decision on the behalf of the member of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha after the advice and after the discussion with the council of minister. So student, let's start the third organ of the government, such as judiciary. Judiciary refers to an institution empowered to administration justice and provide a mechanism for the resolution of legal dispute. Means all legal dispute are resolved from the judiciary, and all the courts at different level in country put together are called the judiciary. In our country there are three courts included in the judiciary, such as Supreme Court, Higher Court and Lower Court, and the resolution of a legal dispute, and it provide a mechanism for all resolution of legal dispute. And the Indian judiciary consists of a Supreme Court for the entire nation, High Court and subordinate court in the state and district court, and the court at the local level and local adalats. And India has an integrated, means your unified judiciary, because it means that the Supreme Court control the judicial administration in the country. Its decisions are binding on all other courts of the country. Means those decisions are taken by the Supreme Court and the High Court. They can use this decision, and the decision are binding on all other courts of the country. And all court, they work according to the decision of the Supreme Court. So we can say that in India, judiciary has an integrated or unified judiciary, and the final decision taken by the Supreme Court, and all higher court and local court, the all decisions are binding on all other courts of the country. Independence of judiciary, like election commission and legislative executive, judiciary also independent, because it means that judiciary is not under the control of legislature and the executive. it work as independent judiciary. The judge do not act on the direction of the government or according to the wishes of the political party in power. They do not work according to the ruling party. They work according to their own wishes, and that's why all modern democracies including India have courts that are independent of the legislative and the executive. So in India the judiciary has the independent, and it take a decision, and they are not responsible to the legislative and the executive. So it is called independent judiciary. And after that we will discuss the appointment of judges of Supreme Court and the High Court. You know student, the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court are appointed by the President on the advice of the Prime Minister and in the consultation of with the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. After the discussion of Prime Minister, President and Chief Justice Supreme Court, all judges of the Supreme Court has appointed. And the senior judges of the Supreme Court select the new judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court. And there is a very little scope of the interference by the political executive. And the seniors most judge of the Supreme Court is usually appointed the Chief Justice according to their age and their experience. And the most senior person, most senior judge, they select as the Chief Justice of the country. And so this is the method of appointment of judge of Supreme Court and the High Court, and they are selected by the President, and the President can discuss with the Prime Minister and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. After that we will discuss a removal of a judge of Supreme Court and High Court. What is the process to remove the judge of Supreme Court and High Court? Student, when a person is appointed as judge of the Supreme Court or the High Court, it is impossible, it is nearly impossible to remove him or her from that position, because it is as difficult to removing the President of India, and it is also it is difficult such as remove the Election Commission of India, because in a democratic country it is very impossible to remove judge of the Supreme Court, and a judge can be removed only by an impeachment motion passed separately by 2/3 member of the two houses of the Parliament, and it has never happened in the history of Indian democracy. It has not happened in our country. And student, impeachment means it is a process through which judge of the Supreme or High Court are removed by the method of impeachment. So student, impeachment is a process when we can use judge of the Supreme of the High Court are removed by the method of impeachment. So this is the method of removal of judge of Supreme Court and the High Court, but it is impossible to remove the Supreme Court, but a judge can be removed after the approval of Lok Sabha member and the Rajya Sabha member. And the power of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court can take up any dispute such as between citizen of the country, second between citizen and the government, and between two or more state governments, and other is between governments at the union and state level. And the Supreme Court can resolve all types of dispute, and they take a major decision for the country, and they resolve all types of disputes. And role of the Supreme Court and the High Courts. The Supreme Court and the High Courts have the power to interrupt the constitution of the country. They interrupt and they can change some provision of the constitution after the discussion in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the approval of the president. And they can declare invalid any laws of the legislature or the action of the executive, whether at the union level or state level, if they find such law or action is against the constitution. When some laws and some rule and regulation are invalid and they are against, they are invalid and they are against with the against with in any laws of executive and legislative, then they can change according to the rule and regulation. So this is the power of Supreme Court and the High Court, and they can change rule and they can interrupt in the constitution, and they can determine the constitutional validity of any legislation or action of the executive in the country when it is challenged before them. And this is known as the judicial review. If any person, they can determine and validity of any legislative law, they can challenge, and it is also called judicially review. And the Supreme Court of India was also ruled that the core of basic principle of the constitution cannot be changed by the parliament. Means the basic principle hai, basic rule and regulation cannot change by the Supreme Court, and the constitution cannot be changed by the parliament without the permission of the Supreme Court. All change can be implemented after the approval of the Supreme Court. So these are the major powers of the Supreme Court and the High Court judge. And the judiciary is as the highest authority. You know, student, judiciary as the highest authority because it works as independent, and the power and the independence of the Indian judiciary allow it to act as the guardian of the fundamental right, because it protects our fundamental right. In our country we have 6 fundamental rights, and he has the supreme power to protect all fundamental rights. And anyone means those person have the rich and and he also rich or poor, anyone can approach the court if the public interest is hurt by the action of the government, and it is called public interest litigation. Anyone can approach in High Court and Supreme Court. And the court intervened to prevent the misuse of the government power to make a decision. They can check the misuse of the government, and they can check the government work. And after that, they check malpractice and they check dirty tricks on the part of the public official. That is why the judiciary enjoy high level of confidence among the people, because we are totally believed in the Supreme Court and we are agree with the decision of the Supreme Court, because Supreme Court provides us PIL, and according to the PIL, all person they can appeal in the Supreme Court, and they can change the order of the government. So we all people, we are because the judiciary is the responsible to take the decision for the welfare of the people. So we can say that judiciary as the highest authority in our country. And student, today your homework solution. So student, this is the first question. First question is, what is the role of the parliament in law making? Answer is, parliament is the final authority to making new laws and changing existing law in our country. And second, parliament controls all the money that government has. In most countries, public money can be spent only when the parliament sanction it. And after that, parliament is the highest form of discussion and debate on public issue and national policy in any country. Parliament can seek information about any matter. And question number 2, the Lok Sabha is more powerful than the Rajya Sabha. Explain by giving 3 reasons. And point is, any ordinary laws need to be passed by both the houses such as Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, but there is difference between the two houses. The final decision is taken in a joint session where the view of the Lok Sabha is likely to be prevail because of its larger number of members, because in a Lok Sabha there are 543 members. And second, Lok Sabha exercise more power in money matters. Once the Lok Sabha passes the budget of the government or any other money related law or money bill, for Rajya Sabha cannot reject it. And third, the Rajya Sabha can only delay it by 14 days or suggest to change it. But for Lok Sabha may or may not accept these changes. And the Lok Sabha control for Council of Ministers. Only a person who enjoy the support of for majority of for member in for the Lok Sabha is appointed for Prime Minister. And fifth, if the majority of for Lok Sabha members say that they have no confidence in for Council of Minister, all minister including for Prime Minister have to quit, but for Rajya Sabha does not have this power to quit. So we can say that Lok Sabha has the more power than the Rajya Sabha. And question number third, who is called permanent executive? We know executive have two types, permanent executive and political executive. And permanent executive, they are appointed on a long term basis, and person working at permanent executive in civil service are known as civil servant, and they work under political executive and assist them for carrying out daily administration. And point third, they remain in office even when the ruling party changes, and they are more educated and have exercise on the subject of ministry. And question number fourth, enlist the power of the prime ministers. And the answer is, he takes most of the different decision in the cabinet meetings. He coordinates the work of different departments, and he supervises different ministers, and he distribute and redistribute work to the ministers, and he also has the power to dismiss ministers. So these are the power of the prime minister. And question of it, what is a council of minister? You know, council of minister is the official name for the body that includes all the ministers. It wholly has 60 to 80 ministers of different ranks. Why does the political executive have more powerful than the permanent such as non-political executive? Because political executive are elected by the people and thus is empowered to exercise the will on their behalf. They work according to the wishes of the people, so they are more powerful. That's why the political executive has more powerful than the non-political executive. Today your homework student, do following question in your fair notebook. Question number first, how many members are nominated in Rajya Sabha by the president? And second question, how is the president of India elected? Question number third, what is public interest litigation and what is its importance? Question number fourth, enlist the power of the president. Question number fifth, how is Indian judiciary unified? Explain. And question number 6, who appoints the Chief Justice of India and the other judges? And question number 7, enlist the differences between Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Student, all question done in your fair notebook. Revise this chapter. Thank you.